with me sitting on the board.
You're all set to go.
Now I can't find my, that,
All right, well, this thing, once you use this thing, you
that
won't
system.
go to
You're what?
Well, I've got a microphone system. I've got a PA system. I got everything you could possibly remember. Yeah, but
Oh, I have radios if you want to use radio.
I had a system that would pick you up 600 feet away.
I was expecting a dog. It's Bucky from the. Bucky, this is Bucky. I want to go to Bucky's.
Oh, so you've been to Bucky's, huh? You survived?
I was thinking if she got up, he might get afraid. She's at home. I could say he's taking a dressage lesson. See, I'm also crazy too. Well, they know that. Yeah, I'll try to put him on Dixie. I don't know how that goes. So is the arena out there open then? I'm not doing anything out there. Okay, you just brought the horses in then. Yeah. They were done. So she doesn't want back out? I mean, yes, I don't know. They were all running from the bus. Okay, so. No, oh no, we're going to see Bucky. But now I got a magnet and a Bucky, so I don't know how to put it on.
I'm gonna really want to see him go in a little different area or outside. I want to watch those front feet a little bit because he's throwing them. In other words, when he's picking that foot up, he's kind of throwing it out there instead of picking them up and setting down.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's got something to do with the ground that we're on, but I'm just watching how he's moving. Are you using the same farrier Sam's using now?
Who are you using, Sam? Yep.
Okay.
So Randy just put shoes on him this last time. He was having a few issues where his feet were falling apart because it was too hard. So
Okay.
a lot of border cracks and stuff.
Come here, Sam, and now, Sam. Huh? Okay.
Too much toe, you think?
I'm just watching his toes, and that's why I've said something about getting him out from here in here, so I can watch how the foot sets down. Sam, look for the foot kind of throwing. Okay. You understand what I'm saying?
That's why I made him take a little more off, but I think he still could have gone more.
Let's see him move a little bit. All right, let's go back left. Go left. Next time you come around, turn back to the left. There you go. You get into that corner, kind of come out and do a diagonal back to this side. Do a diagonal back to your other wall. Good. Okay. All right. Just ask him to stop there for a second. Sit down. Lift your head up a little bit. See if he comes back to the bit. Okay, that's pretty nice right there. Now, just lift your head up, add a little bit of leg, and see what he does. Okay, now you need a little more. This right leg needs to be back a little bit. So it's blocking that hind end from coming off of the wall. Now. A lot better.
Looks a little different than the last time you saw him, huh?
Oh, yeah. Now, but when you got him moving a little bit, he don't seem to be flipping them feet out quite as bad as he is at the walk.
Okay.
But traveling on maybe watching him go on a different kind of ground to see if it's here or if it's just that he's got a little lazy, and I'd have to take them bell boots off of him. You bad about clipping himself?
Not yet.
Is he?
With the shoes on, he was getting his heels, so that's why I put the bell boots back on him. Because when we were doing the diagonal at the canter, to the counter canter, he's not, like, he's starting to figure out his balance, so that's where he kind of like overreach or just not sure where his feet are for a second. So he was really getting his heels torn up. That's why I started putting the 4 boots on.
Okay. Well, you know, if he's overreaching back there and what have you, go ahead and turn him into the wall a little bit. Now, wait a minute. I want you to move his hind end to me.
Okay.
Now, okay. Come out here for a second. Let me show you something. All right, just stop right there. You're kind of trying to lean back and look.
Okay.
All right, feel what's happening underneath you. Now, right here, see what that'll get you.
Okay.
See, what happened in the beginning was he come off of the wall.
Mhm.
Now, understand everything got a job.
Okay.
Okay, well, dead serious. Left reins got a job, right reins got a job, left foot's got a job, left leg's got a job, right leg's got a job. Okay, now, and if you're just going to ask him to move his hind end over, just make light contact with him. Take this leg and kind of just wait. Turn loose. See? Because what you want to work on is getting one step at a time. Now, see, right now what he's doing is kind of looking at me. Mm-hmm. All right, now, just move your hind end over. See, and we didn't step forward as bad. Mm-hmm. Remember what I was saying about there's times you want to control the front shoulders, there's times you want to control the hind quarters. Now, but see how little it takes. Don't use your whip, just now release. Now, and the way that he starts getting the understanding is just put it there, put this leg in. Go ahead and put the spur to him just a little bit. Now, you need to do a little bit more here so he don't walk his feet forward. Now, try it again, see how little. Now, he's getting a little too much here. That's why he's stepping back. You see that?
Yep.
And taking. All right, now, switch. And you see, right now, he's not real certain. All right. Good. See, that's taking a little too much. All right, now, but you still did too much to start with.
Okay.
All right. The way he learns to operate off of less, a lot of times when I'm working with horses, it'll get to the point where I can walk up there and do like this with my finger and never touch them. And that hind end will move over. Let me give him a little bit. All right, now. Good. He started, he's tried something. Now put this foot in here and just wait, just hold it. And then the instant he starts, all right, now, I want you to look to the right a little bit and put this leg in and hold it until you get a move out of him. Because right now he's kind of going a little dull on you. Now, then the hip moved over, the hip moved over. Now, reward him a little bit. Just rub his neck. No. Good girl. You know, and then we need to get some video of your mare doing this, because we got Sam's mare doing this. So where about all he has to do is think it, and she moves her hind end over. Now just wait. There you go. Now release. Now, okay, now a little bit more here. Just put this leg back and let's see. Turn loose. See, there's got to be a reward for moving. Okay. And you can tell. Now, wait just a second. See, I asked him to move that time. Now, watch him. All right. All right, now put your leg in. See, he's got his focus was out there. And ask him to move that hind end over. There you go. Okay. Now, I know you've heard me talk about these reins being connected to the horse's feet. I want you to pick up his right front foot and set it over here.
And set it towards you?
Set it towards me. A little bit. Close that leg up a little bit and set that foot over. Okay, now set that right front foot over. Good. Now you see you did enough there. You did enough there to pick that foot up and set it behind this other foot. So what that tells you is that, you know, and it's a matter of what it is I'm wanting to do. Well, I'm wanting the horse to put this foot over in front, or am I wanting him to put it over behind? Ask him to put it over behind. Good. Now, move this foot back and ask him to move his hind end over. See, something out there's got his attention for a second.
Good boy.
Now, and then switch and ask him, good.
That was much lighter.
Uh-huh. But, see what I'll do a lot of times with a horse, especially that little old pony down there, we'd do what I call the boogaloo.
Okay.
Okay? We'd move his hip over to the right, hip over to the left, and then step him back.
Okay.
Take a shot at it. Now, just wait. Move it back. Something out there. He saw somebody coming. Now, not having enough here, and your leg may have been a little too much forward. Because you see, when you start asking for stuff, the message starts here. Okay? The message starts up here and goes down. By the time I get a spur into him, there's a promise behind that. Okay? But, see how much lighter that was? Now, all right, now step his hind end back over this way. Don't look so far. And what he's feeling was there was not quite enough, because what he started doing, see, when the horse moves, he's telling you what he heard. And so what he heard right in that instance was move your front shoulders over. Okay? Now, there you go. Now move it back the other way. Now, nice. Now step back. See, when you get to where you can set your horse on his hind end, well, then when you get ready to leave, you know, and also when you get ready, doing this kind of stuff enough, it was kind of like what I was saying yesterday about doing
The groundwork with the left and the right, move the shoulders.
moving the shoulders over, moving.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. It's just that one of them's coming from the ground, the other one's coming from his back. Now, I want you to release him just a second and rub his. Now, you see that? When you release that time, what he did was kind of finished. Because what he did was pushed into your hand just at the bottom of it. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, when you released him, see him right there, kind of drop his head down and push into it a little bit? Well, my hands never show up for a fight with a horse. They just don't. But I do set the boundaries. In other words, if I felt him go to drop this head and try to move my hands forward, my hands would close. And I would say, go ahead, that's your mouth. You know, but I'm not going to show up for your fight or for you to push into me. And, you know, but when I release him, right now, let's see. Let me hold your whip for a second. I want you to see if you can split. Just, you see him right there? That's what I was talking about when you come to here, go ahead and do it again. Spread your hands and just ask him to come back to the bit. Now it's release right there. All right, and right this second, he's kind of in a hold position. Okay, now, Go ahead and add a little bit to it. Turn loose. See, what, when you got on this horse, okay, you got up there and just automatically walked him off. There was no bending, no flexing, no giving to the bit, no working on that kind of stuff before you walked him off. Right now, see how little it takes to bend his head to the left. That's good. Turn loose. Now, see how little it takes to bend his head to the right. Just relax. Bend your elbow. And let him come around. There you go. Now turn loose. Now pick up both reins and ask him to come back to the bit. All right, right there. Turn loose. Because, and the reason I had you turn loose right then, even though I didn't feel like he did, did he give you a release there? Would be that he held steady.
Okay.
Okay. See, you hear people all the time talk about get out of the horse's mouth, get out of that horse's mouth. If you're a trainer or you're a horseman and you think you know how to get into that horse's mouth, well, then your obligation to that student is to teach them how to get in there.
Okay.
Okay. Because real world, and it's like I tell people all the time when I hear people, you go all the place, get out of the horse's mouth, get out of that horse's mouth. Well, who was the person that put that set of reins in their hands?
Okay.
Because the very first thing people are going to do is get in that horse's mouth. You know, because we create a whole lot more hand riders,
Leg and seat riders.
than we do anything else. And so learning how to get in, because real world for this horse is somebody's going to get in his mouth.
Right. What
And-
you want the steady contact,
Yeah.
but you want to give
And
it
you
into-
have to be able to take contact. Okay, you have to be able to make contact with the horse, but you also have to be able to turn him loose. All right. Now, just square your hands up and make some contact with him. Turn loose. See that head come back down, and what? You want to look for that field for when he releases to you and release back to him. Okay. Now, right here, just ask him to move his hip over that way. See how little it takes. Now, what he's feeling in the beginning
was the shoulder. My leg wasn't back.
was more step back. Okay. Now, square your hands up. Turn loose. Now, move your right leg back and ask him to move his hip over this way. See, and once again, he's getting a little more contact here, so he's stepping back away. That right leg needs to go back a little bit and into him so he understands moving that hip over. All right, ask him to move his hip over this way. See, now, there you go. Now, but the other thing you want to do is don't be late going with him.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? In other words, when you feel him start to move, you make certain that you go with him and get the release. Now move this left leg back a little bit and ask him to move his hind end over. A little better. Now pick your head up and let's see what he does. All right, now move his hip back over that way. Little bit. Turn that toe out just a touch. Right. See now what he's understanding when I said turn that toe out, it didn't mean suck that knee into him, it meant turn that toe out. Now, good, because you see, if the message starts up here and he's feeling for you, you see the difference right there? Now, and there's a big difference in having, now watch him, he said, don't step back there. Now, watch this. Good for you. Good for you. Now, and watch this. Just sit there relaxed. See, now, I'm going to show you what I did right then to move that hip over.
Oh.
So when you start and see, I never move a horse without knowing which foot I'm moving. Okay? So if you were to ask him to walk off right now, he says there's a little much, now just walk off. Close that left leg at the girth and move him around. Look over here. There you go. All right, now close your right leg. Don't lean back on him. Now, just sit down and get relaxed a little bit. Square your hands up. Good. Make a little contact on this left rein. All right, now push him right up into the trot going down the rail. Good. All right, come off of the rail. Close that right leg. There you go. Good. He was wanting to give you a little bit of a lope, wouldn't he? Okay, well, let's go ahead and ask for it. Let's see if he'll give it to you. Good. All right, now, what happened then was you wasn't pushing through the turn. Now, you see him do that right there? That's something you really don't want to see him doing. Remember what I was telling you about him pulling on you when? Okay, now, let's ask for the lope. Good. Good. Easy. Don't lose your leg. Good. All right. Good. All right, now sit down. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to work on your transitions a little bit.
Okay.
I want to see you transition up from a walk to a trot.
Okay.
All right, and then I'm going to tell you when to go to the lope, and then I want to see you transition back to the trot.
Okay.
And then I'm eventually going to have you transition back to the walk.
Okay.
instead of stopping, okay? Okay, go ahead and ask for the lope. Good. Transition back to the trot. Good. Now transition back to a walk. Little too much stopping that transitioning back to the walk. Okay? Now. Good. All right, now, when you get to this wall, I want you to turn him into the wall. Move his hind end around. Now, see you stepped away from the wall a little bit. That meant that this right leg needed to be getting a little clearer with him. All right, just go for the walk right now. Let me see you put an energy walk in him some. Nice. No, he's all right. Let's see if you can get a little bit of a slower walk out of him. That's good. All right, trot. Nice. All right, come to the lope. Good. A little bit. Now. Push. Okay, just sit down right there for a second. That was pretty decent, but when you got over here, you lost it.
Yep.
Now, and you see what he's doing right there?
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get you to turn him loose a little bit. Just kind of turn him loose a little. See how he...
Should be smooth and respectful, not yoinky.
Yeah. And the way that you do that is by getting him to come back and then releasing, and you riding a little bit more with your legs. Okay. See, what happened when you come over here, you had a little more contact with him in the mouth without enough leg on him to keep him going. See, because it's really in the legs, and people are real bad. Instead of developing the whole horse,
they just develop here.
Well, they develop one thing. Okay. Instead of developing, say, a trot and a jog, and instead of developing the slow walk and the fast walk, okay, well then they develop what's important to them instead of developing the whole horse. I want you to kind of sit up there and see if you can just fold your arms and move him a little bit and let me watch you move him and see how he does. Just walk. Just walk. All right, now when he gets down to that corner, okay, just keep moving. Good. Not too much leg, because what he's feeling right now
Mhm.
What he was feeling right now was you saying, hurry up, you were getting him with them spurs a little bit.
That's because he's going to you for that thing.
All right, close that right leg and look out here at me. Now look at the center, right? No, not particularly at the center, because you see, when you come off of there, what he was doing, and see, people don't spend enough time just seeing what's possible with your legs and understanding you're here. And when I asked you to kind of drop them reins, and I could see the
No, he'll go to each human looking for a mitt. That's
Huh?
what we've unfortunately taught him to do.
Do what now?
He'll go to each person asking for a mitt. Because he had to walk, trot, canter, so he's done.
Okay,
And
well, no, he don't get to decide that now. But let's see how little it takes for you to move his hind end over. Just good. Now let's see if you can move it back this other way. See, right now, you're looking a little too deep.
Okay.
All right, so just close that leg back. Watch him. He's on me right now.
Yeah.
Now, watch him. I'm going to show you something. I want you to watch his head a little bit. Do you see him bring his head back far enough to see me out here? Okay. Now, watch this. Just pick up your right rein. All right. Now, move this right leg back and into him. Turn your toe out just a hair. Good. Now, turn it loose. And now, see, he's not being.
He's kind of dead on this side.
All right, well then. See, now what I did with that little bit, and that just tells me he hadn't had enough of this kind of stuff. Now turn your toe out a little bit. Now, watch him. Bump him with it a little bit. He's got to, see, his focus goes somewhere else.
You got to give him a little weight.
Yeah, and you got to recognize when his focus is going somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay. You know, one of the things that I tell people all the time, bad part about wanting your horse to pay attention
You got to pay attention.
is that you got to pay attention. You know, so sitting here and being able to see how little it takes. All right, now watch him. Okay, now pick up your reins, square you out, and bend your elbows. Just wait. See what I'd like to see him doing a little bit more. Let me have those for just a second. Good. Good. Now, pick him up, square your hands up a little bit. See him push? Now, put your legs into him and step him forward on that. All right, now. But what I would want him doing, turn loose right there. All right, now drop him and rub his neck before he gets the chance to push on you. See how he didn't push on you that time? Okay? Because what he's kind of getting in the habit, and that softening thing, that's why doing those flexing, bending exercises, and being able to sit up straight, make contact with him, and get him to give to the bit so that when I pick up a set of reins, I pick them up in such a fashion that I start with fingers. All right, by the time I've got a closed hand, there's a promise behind that.
Okay.
And it will actually get to the point to where you can take your fingers
And it softens just like that.
and soften it just like that. Okay? But you see what happens when a horse starts getting a little dull to that kind of stuff? There's not such thing as a hard-mouthed horse. I don't care what people try to tell you. That mare Sam's, all they could talk about was what hard-mouthed she was. No, she wasn't hard-mouthed. She's learned not to pay attention. Or to pay attention so much here that
You were holding it.
right. And people that spend their time holding their horse will spend the rest of their life holding that horse. Okay, because they just don't know how to turn loose. And that's why you being able to ride in maybe even a little different setup for a little while and get out here and play, kid. I mean, for you to find out what you can do to just move him, you know, because people all the time, there was a guy's a trainer down there in Florida, and he was over at the place where I was at, and they were doing some cow work and that kind of stuff, and I watched this guy with this horse. Finally, I looked at him and I said, "Are you willing to learn something? You willing to try and learn how to do something different?" And he said, "Well, yeah." I said, "Get down off the horse." He got down off the horse. I said, "Do you think you can take instructions from me?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, trot off out there." And he trotted off out there, and I said, "Now make a left-hand turn." And he made a left-hand turn. I said, "Now slow down to a walk." And he did. And I said, "Slow down to a slower walk." He did. I said, "Now move 1 foot at a time." And he did. And then I said, "Okay, now lope up here." We got done. I said, "That's really cool, isn't it?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "You know, he can do all this stuff without you." Said, "You're not asking him to do something special." I said, "You're asking him to do something you haven't mastered yet." But when you start, you know, just right now, close that right leg and look over here. See, the instant I say close that right leg, what you heard was fool with the reins. See, you hadn't always got to,
Right.
you know, and learning that you can move this horse and do all this kind of stuff and develop a set of hands that's independent from your seat. And, you know, people get into a false sense of security with a set of reins in their hands because they think that it puts you in charge. Well, if you don't know what you're doing, it puts you in a position where you're fixing to go over his head. You know, especially if you haven't spent time
for
Okay.
softening. And
Yeah. And I asked him to move. You know, and that little old pony, that little POA I was telling you about yesterday, that you've seen the videos on, that little old horse just, I mean, he's won everything. They got him on a magazine, you know, and kind of like him. But that little old horse, I could move him over by doing my finger like, you know, and you watch him. Good. Now lift your head up. All right. Now pick up your reins and do a little add. Not much. See how little. Get his head in the center. And just kind of lift your head up. Good. And I finish off by moving his hind end over. See how little it takes? See? That's why the groundwork becomes so important. Yeah, I can move a horse's hind end over with my eyes. You know, just by putting your focus here. Now, let's see. Watch it. And that's why. Good. Now, good. Good. Go right ahead. Good. Step over. There you go. And then see, people don't ride from where they sit enough. And practice going out and doing this kind of stuff to where, you know, you can ask him. And that's why putting stuff on the ground, doing that kind of stuff, hula hoop,
yeah,
or put his front end in a hula hoop,
and then make him spin his hind around.
and then ask him to spin his hind end around, and then turn around and put his hind end there, and bring his front end around. Okay? And, you know, and that's why even just like putting people in a hula hoop when I do the groundwork, so that they learn to get centered here. Okay? And then when you decide, all right, without, no, just don't particularly go to your hands, but move him over. Okay, now close this leg up and just step him. Good. Move that hind end over a little bit more. See, you needed a little more of that hind end. Okay. Now, all right, now I want you to stop, turn him into the wall, and ask him to move his hind end around. Good. Oh, yeah. Well, now, you got somebody, now just sit down. You got somebody, now just square your hands up and lift your head up. Just wait on him a second. All right, now, lift this left rein a little bit. Support with the right hand. Remember what I said? Everything got a job. Good. Step back and release. Good. Now, move his hind end over here. Now, you kind of walked him off a little bit because you quite didn't have enough on his front end. Now, relax. Good. Square up. Step him back. There you go. Ride him to the wall. Good. Ride him over to there you go. Now straighten out and go on. I want you to go deep in the corner down here. When you go down there, you could have went a little deeper than that. Get in the habit of riding deep into your corners. Okay. All right, now, just release him and make your turns, and let's see if you can let him move. Just release him a little bit. Let him. All right, now right there, when he puts that head down, you feel him push into your hands. Get your spurs into him a little bit. Okay? Now, and I'll explain that to you here in a minute. There you go. Push. Push. Push with your legs. See? Push with your legs. See? Pretty quick, he'll figure out every time he pushes into your hands down there, you kind of make contact with your spurs right there. And he'll quit trying to push into your hands. Push. May take him a little bit, but he'll right there. Push, push, push. Uh-huh. One thing for him to drop that head down, it's another thing for him to push at you. Okay. Right there, that was not a push. That was him, right? That was him kind of clearing up everything, clearing his nose a little bit. Good. Push. Push. Good. All right, turn and come back down here. Good. Exhale. I don't know if you ever read the story. I wrote this story about a little horse. A girl brought to me to train years ago. It was a 3-year-old. He was the neatest little horse you have ever seen in your life, because you would show this horse something 3 times
And he could do it?
and he'd do it. And you'd show it to him 3 times, and it was like, okay, I got that. Let's go and do something else. And you'd go on and do something else. Okay, I got that. Let's go on and do something else. Well, I got this little old horse trained up really nice. And the gal would come out every so often and ride him and do and what have you. Well, the day she come to pick him up, I showed her how this little horse would pivot and spin a little bit. And that was a mistake. Okay. And I had an old racehorse trainer who was working for me. He got done. He says, what do you think? I said, she'll call me before 3 days goes by. He said, why? I said, did you see her light up when I showed her how to pivot this horse? He said, yeah. I said, she gonna take him home? And I said, she's gonna call all the neighbors. She's gonna call anybody to come over. And I said, she's gonna push that button until she breaks it. He said, really? I said, yeah. Well, I got the call in 2 days. Okay. And I went by there that afternoon. And this little old horse was just the neatest thing in the world. We went out in the round pen. She bent over to put her spurs on. This little horse walks over to her, puts his head over on top of her, takes his legs and doing like this. And I just busted out laughing. She said, what's so funny? I said, he thinks you're a play toy. Well, we got that resolved and what have you. And I told her, I said, you know, you can't do that. Well, a few years goes by. I get a phone call from her. Said, I want you to bring him over. I want to bring him over and get you to tune him up. I want to sell him.
Okay.
Okay, why? I'm tired of fighting with him.